let's get going. So let me introduce myself, and I've got a partner here with me as well. He's in the middle of the food line back there. But I'm Christian Bell. I'm the Regional Director of Sales for Kentucky and a few other states surrounding it. And that fine fellow getting the Reuben back there, that's John Scheringer, and he's my technical counterpart. He's also the manager of the solutions engineer team. So I'm lucky I'm the one rep who gets to work with him, and then the rest of his time he's managing the other solutions engineers. So I really appreciate you guys having us. I know you're kind of, sounds like the LMS supergroup is starting an evaluation with a few different vendors, and we're grateful to be one. So thank you. Thanks for considering Canvas and spending your time. I know you're all super busy. You feel camera shy?
No, I'm messing with you.
So he wanted to catch this little introduction on camera, and now we're going to switch to my little slide. I want to talk about a few things before we jump into Canvas, and then I'm just going to demo Canvas live. It's not a PowerPoint or anything. First of all, let me get a better feel of who's here. Raise your hand if you're IT. Okay, raise your hand if you're instructional design. Always sit together. Hey, how are you? I recognize some of you from Kentucky Convergence. And then how about if you're faculty? Great. Good. We're hoping there'd be a good number of faculty here. And any students? Is that young lady in the back? Student? Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. So you guys, I'm assuming everyone has a pretty thorough, detailed memory and read through your vision 2020, right? Sure. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't expect that, but I did. I really like to do my research, and so I've been studying as much as I can about EKU online and from talking to various people, and I've gone through as thoroughly as I can the Vision 2020, and I know this is, you know, that this comes from the president and the steering committee, right, that everyone's on board with it. And I read these all the time, and I have to say yours is actually really specific and cool. A lot of these are just sort of, you know, corporate speak. We're going to do these things, synergy. But this is really good. The bold is mine for emphasis. So these are the things. It's a big, long plan, and you've got the six different strategic areas. But the first two, academic excellence and commitment to student success, are where most of these individual objectives are pulled from. I pulled these out when I saw Canvas could totally help them accomplish this objective. So I'm not going to spend any more time on this. This is probably something your president and Bettina would be more interested than the faculty. But Canvas can really do some cool things here. So I want to tell you a little bit about us, about Instructure and Canvas. I'll start actually with something else. Raise your hand if you were at the Kentucky Convergence Conference. Cool, okay. Yeah, I remember quite a few of you, your faces from there. I don't remember names, but do you remember the keynote speaker? He was the Duck Dynasty looking beard guy. Brian Alexander, yeah, except he's from like Maine or Vermont. He's this brilliant PhD. So I was at that conference and I listened to the keynote, and it was the most interesting keynote I've ever heard at one of those conferences, because he did two things. The first half was spent with, you know, this is his full-time job, and so he does all this market research on demographic and cultural trends in America and how they will affect higher ed, and it seemed kind of particular to four-year institutions, right, like EKU. And the first 20, 25 minutes was just bleak. It was him showing why you're in big trouble, right? This is happening with this group. this trend is happening culturally. You know, you've got all these workforce objectives that aren't aligning with four-year institutions. So he takes us through all this real heavy but presentable data on the challenges facing four-year institutions. But the end was cool. He brought it around, and in a non-cheesy, really substantive way, he talked about what you can do about it, what we can do about it, right? To be those that thrive and not those that shut our doors in 5 years. And really the theme, the overwhelming theme I took away from him was him saying, it's up to you guys. It's really up to each institution. You know, he was warning us that higher ed institutions historically, on average, in America, have not been the quickest to adapt and evolve in terms of technology and pedagogical innovation, right? And he was saying those who continue to do what they did in the 80s and in 94 and in 2012 will really decline enrollments and maybe not be around in 15 or 20 years. But those who choose to evolve with the needs will thrive, because others will not be there and they'll thrive and do even better than they are now. So I want to talk about change a little bit, because if you chose Canvas, and I understand you're in the first part of evaluation, and we're one of many vendors, there's some great technologies out there, but if you chose Canvas, I think the scariest thing for you would just be the change, right? I would say, I'd say 70% of our, probably have about 900 higher ed institution clients now, have come from Blackboard, right? So I'm going to show you some specific things we have built for Blackboard clients, because that's really been our bread and butter switching over. But I can tell you from experience with all these Blackboard schools I've helped migrate that there's just a lot of fear about, oh my gosh, what a pain. I spent 10 years building this course in Blackboard, and I've heard Canvas is neat, but it's different, and is this all going to translate, and there's going to be a steep learning curve like there was last time we switched to LMSs. So the quick story of Canvas is these two grad students were in a master's degree computer science program. They had an assignment in the class to find a technology in their lives that did not work and to create an idea for a better solution, right? So they studied the different things that they use in their day, and they really quickly were like, nothing comes even close to how crappy the LMS we have to use is. So this is what we're going to focus on, the LMS that they were taking this course in. And so this was 2006-ish, and they thought, why, it's 2006. I mean, why does it have to be old, clunky, self-hosted technology? Why can't it be like an iPhone and be really user-friendly and be open, an open platform, be able to pull in cool apps from the outside to do specific things, and really focus on ease of use? Let's get this to remind way later. Really focus on ease of use, and why can't it be on the cloud, like Salesforce and Facebook and Gmail and these other modern web platforms, so that you don't have to install service packs every 6 months, which break things from 2 service packs ago. Let's just update it gradually so it doesn't even mess the user up. They really don't even know it's being refreshed, but it just improves easily over time. So their professor was a guy who had made millions building and selling a cloud company called Mozy, and retired and was now teaching full-time. So he knew about this, and he said, you guys are really onto something. So they drove around in this little Geo Metro. He told them to drive around to a number of universities, meet with people like Bettina and Gene and presidents, and ask them what they would want, their ideal LMS, and they saw a lot of frustration. So they built Canvas. So that's where Canvas came from. And sorry, this is not my laptop, so I'm trying to, oh, here we go. Okay, so they kind of started out of their car, and this is our headquarters now. So this is Salt Lake City, Utah. If you're ever out there, let me know, and come and I'll give you a tour. It's a great view of the valley. I work like right there, And then you've got world-class ski resorts right there. It's right up against the Wasatch Mountains. So they've grown it into this big, about 800-person company now. And one of the things that's really fueled our growth is our obsession with customer happiness. One thing they heard in this validation tour was the technology kind of sucks and the customer service and the feeling of collaboration and partnership between us and the vendors really sucks. So we've been obsessed with customer success from day one. So quickly, here are our values. You can memorize it. The acronym is COOTIES. We've just got a weird marketing department, but that's COOTIES. So I've worked for a lot of companies, large and small, and most companies' values don't really mean anything. They're on a plaque on a wall. Nobody pays attention. You just try to make money. This is actually by far the best company I've been at culturally. They really believe this stuff. The CEO believes this stuff, and we practice it. We're not perfect, but we try. This is a picture of some users and maybe a couple employees in InstructureCon. So the best way for you guys to learn about Canvas and how people like Canvas who have changed from Blackboard or other systems, if you can send a few people to InstructureCon this summer, it'd be awesome. That's in this beautiful mountain resort in Colorado, and it's a good time. So here's the growth. It cut off the years here, but they launched in 2011, which was about here. 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now we're at about 1,800 total. Some of those are K-12. The majority of our business has been higher ed. This is showing implementations per year. So this is put out by a Canadian group. I think they're out of university there, who studies and does data analysis on edutech companies and software. So this is kind of cool because it's showing by year, not market share, but the share of new implementations, right? So this is Blackboard, and they acquire WebCT there, and Angel, and so that's Blackboard, and then you've got D2L here. Anyway, so this is Canvas. So that's about, last 2014, so that was about 50%. That includes Canada, though, which we haven't played ball in because they don't have Amazon Web Services. So it's probably closer to 60 in the US. So we've had a lot of quick growth, and a lot of people ask, how do we know you're going to not sell out? How do we know you're going to continue great customer support? And it's a fair question. And it really comes down to our people. It sounds kind of corny, but there's some things we actually do that make a big difference. So if any of you have seen Glassdoor, this is where employees anonymously review their employer. Go on and look at us and look at other LMS companies. We're actually, in this thing they put out at the end of last year, we were had the fourth highest score in the world of all businesses on Glassdoor in the small to medium business range. So 4.7, you never see anything like that. But we have a really fun culture that hires talented people, and we retain those people. And they take great care of our customers. There's an ugly sweater party with some of our customer success managers there. So let me just get a little specific. We're not going to dive deep into this. We don't have time on migration and how we help you with that, right? Because that's the main concern typically. In general, just trust us. We do this every day with Blackboard schools, and so we have to be good at this if we want to succeed, and we're continuing to succeed. So I think we've become really good at making this as painless as possible. So if and when when a university adopts Canvas, you get an implementation consultant who's your technical person. It's kind of like a John, but post-sale. And they're with you throughout the technical implementation. We can do a number of things, bulk migrate your courses. We can white glove your courses if you want, and instructional designers can go through those. Even if you do it all yourself, your IT team, we've got really good tools for that. And it's typically not something that's put on the instructors. We've got really great training. We've got great documentation, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then your customer success manager is the person who's with you for your whole life. They're your advocate within Canvas. And then we've got phenomenal tech support. We'll get into that a little bit. So here are the service level agreements for our tier 1 support, which 90% of my institutions get. UK has tier 1 support. So we will answer the phone in less than a minute. We'll respond to chats in less than 2 minutes. And we'll answer your if you want to use email web form, in less than an hour. And we hit those 94% of the time. This is phenomenal. This is crazy. So we have less than 2% employee turnover. And a lot of our employees are kind of call center people, tech support, right, and the marketing lead people. And call centers often have 100% turnover. So I just hope this tells you something about our culture and how we keep people, which makes your support, the product we're developing, much better and more efficient. All right, our customer satisfaction is 94%. That's what the people who call in with a problem and they're pulled afterward by a robot on the phone or in an email. And then, has anyone even heard of a Net Promoter Score? Probably don't care about that, but it's something cool and we have an awesome score at it. So I'll just tell you that. We'll leave it at that. So we're in the same ballpark above and below some of these Amazon, Zappos, Netflix, companies that have really high Net Promoter Scores. Ours has always been above 50, and it's not like a 0 to 100 A, B, C, D thing. It's like 50 is amazing. The last time I looked at a major LMS, another company, it was -14. So 50 is really good. Okay, so that's it. So I'm going to get out of this. And show you Canvas. So raise your hand if you've ever used Canvas. You have. Do any of you just played in a sandbox or a free for teacher account type thing? Or does anybody here teach at any UK courses or some other? You do? Where do you teach? Oh, cool. Okay. Have you used it yet? Really? How's it going? This is really risky for me to ask you this. It's going okay. Yeah. So you were on Blackboard Learn, right? Before, yeah. Right, at UK. Oh, okay. Oh, got it. Okay, cool. Thanks. Good to know. So I want to show you kind of the experience of the teacher and the student of Canvas. And then there's some other sessions for instructional designers that John will really dive deeper into some functionalities. Jennifer here? I don't see Jennifer, but she sent some good things that we'll go over with the instructional designers later. So Canvas, our bread and our butter is ease of use. And we're always pushing ourselves to eliminate clicks, to make it more modern, more intuitive, more user-friendly. So this is the dashboard. John branded this, as you can see, for you guys. And this is actually a pretty new user interface for us. So you've got a couple cool things about this. One thing is it has totally responsive design. So if you're on your mobile device or an iPad and you flip the screen, right, which you're always doing for different views, mobile, instead of cutting this off or cutting this in half, it all adjusts in proportion, right? So you saw it flip those down and make them wider. It's going to do the same thing at the course level, or if you are minimizing or maximizing, zooming in and out that way. The other cool thing is this is all touch enabled. So obviously for mobile, right? But also a new use we're seeing for this increasingly are the new Surface Pros, right? A lot of students are getting these and they're touch. So I can do all this on my Surface Pro. I'm going to touch there. It'll take me into the course. We've eliminated some clicks by surfacing the most common activity in the course right to the dashboard. So instead of having to click into geology and then announcements and then seeing if there's a new announcement, it tells me there's a new announcement I click right there, or I touch right there with my finger, and it takes me to the announcements. So kind of cool. My phone is not supposed to be on. It was on for the McAllisters people, sorry. So, by the way, we want you guys to ask questions as we're on something, and then we'll also leave some Q&A time at the end if there's something that we just haven't hit that you want to see. And I'll be giving away some swag, some cheap little swag. We've got some mugs. I've got a bunch of these red canvas glasses. So ask good questions. And then we have a few of these tattoo sleeves. These are kind of cool. So like if you have a watch, it's actually pretty realistic, right? So people with teenagers or college age kids love these. So then they actually don't have to go get the tattoo sleeve, you know? So that's my tattoo sleeve. So I've got a couple of those for the best questions. Okay, let's get into what I can do in my account settings. So I'm just going to go into settings. One thing that faculty and students love about Canvas is it's pretty customizable. You can tailor it to you. So I can add, you know, I've probably got my student email address here, right? But I can add a personal email address, which I have here, Sharkman Bell, or it's quick and easy to add my cell phone, so I can receive text notifications. Because Canvas is open source and Web 2.0, it's built with the same technology that Google and Skype and these other things are. We play nicely with others, so I can integrate with my Google Drive or my Twitter account here. Those were under here, other services by default. I click on it, register, and it goes up there. Now, where I can utilize that, or the new email address or the cell phone, is here in my notifications. So I can go through here quickly and tailor how I want Canvas to communicate with me and help me stay organized. These are the methods I've told Canvas you can use to get in touch with me. These are the things that will happen in my course. And when there's a due date, I want to know ASAP to that email address, not there. I want to know when there's an announcement, I want it both places, or maybe just a daily summary there. So, sorry, I've got a Mac. This is a little different. There we go. So with something like discussions or conversations, conversation is the internal email tool. I can have the new discussion go right to my personal email, and then I can reply from that email, from Gmail or Outlook or whatever. I don't have to log into Canvas. We've heard this a lot from students. We want, you know, LMS is not very interesting and fun. Let us do stuff from the tools we're using that goes into the LMS, gets recorded into the LMS. Make it easy for us to post a video that goes into the LMS from our phone or whatever. So this is an example of that. So Canvas is smart enough to, you hit reply on Gmail, here's my discussion reply. Canvas is smart enough to route that to the proper discussion post in the right forum. All right. There are a bunch of things we won't have time to go over, but I want to touch on some highlights. Let's go to the calendar and look at a few things here. So I don't get excited about calendars, but this is honestly one thing, probably in the top 5 things I hear from instructors that saves them time. That's kind of what it's all about, right? LMS is not sexy. It's not fun. It's just a tool that you got to use. A lot of nods. So we get that. We're not trying to make it all hip and cool. We just want to make it super easy to save you time. And we've succeeded in that in some ways with teachers and students. I asked Tim Matthews, I emailed him and said, what would you like to see in these presentations? And he said, this, this, and this. My biggest priority, we don't have any students in the room, my biggest priority is faculty ease of use. I just really want it to be easy to use for them. And what we hear from students, one problem that our founders, Brian and Devlin, had wasn't that it was just not intuitive for them. They're pretty smart, you know, not just smart, they grew up with technology, they can figure stuff out. It's that their instructors it wasn't easy enough for them to add cool content. So they just kind of had lame content. So we hear that from students that, yeah, I can figure out how to use this old system, but my instructor just has a syllabus in there and this and that. It's not colorful, it's not rich, there's not much communication and back and forth and multimedia going on. Let me show you something I actually got today as far as student ease of use. And here's a reference you guys can use if you want to. You're not going to believe me, this was not planned. I didn't email her for this presentation. I emailed her on February 5th. She's really busy. So this is Kelly Cruz at UK. Any of you know Kelly? Yeah, instructional designer. She's great, but she's also in charge of the LMS. So she emailed me back this morning, and you can read this. I'm sorry to say blah, blah, blah. Honestly, so I asked her, how's it going? I said, give me the unvarnished truth. How are faculty and students receiving the change? Blah, blah, blah. And she said, I started managing the LMS in September of 2013, and this year running 2 LMSs has been the best year yet. Tier 1 support feels like a miracle to us. It just feels like a very positive change. I'm so glad we spent the time years ago to explore the need for a change and planning the implementation. So put me down as a very happy customer. Use me as a reference. I asked her if she'd be okay with me sharing this email, and she said, absolutely, feel free to share and include my contact info if any of you want to follow up. So if any of you want to follow up with her, you can take her contact information there. She's awesome. She's super nice and approachable. Also, I'm going to put my cards. Go ahead. Yes. Exactly. It will store it and record it in Canvas. You can also use, and they can use their personal emails. Okay. Yeah, but the answer to your question is yes. Right. Yeah. Good question. Did we answer your question? Okay. Yes. Exactly. If you initiate it in Canvas. Go ahead. Yeah, good question. So let's go back there. That's what I was going to next. Okay, so a few things on the calendar. To your question, the student or the instructor just goes here to the calendar feed, copies and pastes this into their Google Calendar on their phone or iCal or whatever, and now they have a one-way push of all this information. So you're not going to get their appointment to rave at midnight on Friday, right? But they're going to get everything you put on the course calendar. Is that what you're asking? Okay. Right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is another example of where the student doesn't want to log into the LMS to look at the calendar, right? Like let me sync it with my phone calendar. Here are a couple other things you can do on the calendar. To make a new assignment or assessment, I'm gonna click on it, event or assignment, igneous rock quiz for not history, but geology, and let's submit that. So this just created on the calendar, but Canvas is also, everything's dynamically linked. So it created it on the syllabus, which is like a schedule, right? Not your Word syllabus, obviously, but it creates, a course shell in the assignments area. Now, when I change this, if I want to, now let's put this on the 24th. Actually, we've got a lot going on that week. It not only changed it, where did I put that? Oh, I put it on the 25th. It not only changes that on the calendar, it changes it everywhere, the date that it is referenced in Canvas. So it's probably referenced in maybe an announcement, the modules, the syllabus, the assignments area. It updates all those. It waits, I think, 3 minutes, right? So that as you're dragging stuff around, your students don't get notifications that it's changed 10 times. But then it also sends a personal notification to every user in that class, so the student sees this changed. This is showing all my courses. Everything is all the courses are color-coded in Canvas, you know, and I can filter in and out of any of these. These same colors correspond to the colors of the courses you saw on the dashboard. And I can change it here. I will change that green one. What I'm going to do, though, is change it to EKU maroon. Yeah. So you can put in the color code here. That'll make it Eastern Kentucky maroon. So the students can quickly see as they're looking through mobile, blue. I know that's history. Faculty, the same thing. And then the scheduler tool is something you want to look into. It's just a quick, easy way to make a new appointment group. Friday midterm review. You each get 15 minutes. Sign up. If your grandma dies again that semester, you don't need to email me back and forth. Just cancel it and pick a new slot. Try to make the instructor's life as easy as possible. You've noticed, so this global navigation bar is static. It's always there, no matter where I navigate to. And part of that is this, help. So if you have Tier 1 support, the support hotline number will be here. But anybody at any point can go to the public Canvas guides. One real strength of Canvas is that there are no versions. It's like, what version of Gmail or Facebook are you on? You're not, right? It's just not how modern web technology works. Everyone's on the same version, it's version-less, and that has some real advantages for you guys, really in all different groups. You know, for faculty or students, I've got a question on mobile, or how do I make this quiz, do this certain type of question? You can just search that here, and we're not building and supporting 9 different versions. We're very, very focused just on one version that comes through the cloud, and everyone's on the same version. So everyone's also using the same words, the same nomenclature for everything is consistent throughout. So we've got a really strong community. People are pretty passionate about Canvas. And here in the community, you've got guides. You also have the community forums where people are discussing things. You can see our release notes. We're very open about everything. So we're making changes to the system every 3 weeks. But don't think of it like a service pack that you have to deal with every 3 weeks. It's much smaller, more iterative changes like that happen in your Gmail that you don't really even notice until a month later. And you're like, oh, this is cool. They made this bolder here or made this work better. So you can check this out. Go to the community. Here are the guides. We've got particular guides for instructors, for students. We've got a lot of really good video guides that are 2 to 10-minute tutorials on various features within Canvas. Any questions on the documentation or the Canvas community calendar? Anything we've gone over so far? Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, good question. I'll let the accessibility man take that.
Yes, there is a high contrast in the profile settings. You try to contrast. Of course, color.
Barry, right?
Yes, sir. So you said that,
Rock climber.
yes. So then earlier we talked about these customer services.
Yeah. Yes, that's a great question. Thanks for pointing that out. I need to make sure I'm clear about that. So everything I've showed you so far looks exactly the same for students and instructors, except for, with the exception of, we don't let students drag and drop your assignments on the calendar to different dates, right? But they have their own calendar. They can add study for this, or they can create their own events and that sort of thing. But the dashboard looks exactly the same. The profile settings look exactly the same. The notifications are exactly the same. So faculty will have notifications on how quickly I want to know when something's been submitted to grade and in what form, that sort of thing. Go ahead. Did you have another one, Barry? Yeah, we will get to that. Tell me your name. I met you. Yeah, that's right. Micah. I've never tried that. Have you, John?
So like what I get from my Apple calendar, I have I went to
So you're saying, so to clarify for everybody, the calendar in the browser will sync and show up in the app calendar, all that stuff. But you're asking if you can actually hit the link, right? Yeah. Right. Good question, Micah. Was there somebody else? Okay, let's keep cruising along here. Let me show you just very elemental sort of course creation and design stuff. So now again, if you come to Canvas, your IT team will migrate your stuff for you typically, right? So you're not gonna have to go in and recreate all your stuff. Some people wanna do that. They're like, this is 7 years old and it's got a bunch of clip art from Microsoft, and so I'm gonna recreate this, but you don't need to. So let's call this our EKU course. So I'm going to just hit create the course, and now I've got a course shell, and it's going to give me the setup checklist. Canvas is very flexible, I think, pedagogically in general. So we don't force you to build it a certain way, but here are some best practices you might want to look at. So maybe I want to import content. And for the instructional designers, we'll actually have time. John might be able to show you, actually bring in one of your courses that Jennifer sent me. We don't have time to do that now. But the workflow is pretty simple. I'm just going to do Blackboard export. I can select the entire course or just specific content, and then it's going to come in, depending on how big it is. If it's a small course, it's usually within a couple minutes. It could take longer if it's a huge course, obviously. But it will give you an error report. It will say 7 issues, and you can click on those, and it's typically just a missing link, right? It's an old course, and you don't have it in there. There are a couple things that don't come over if it's in Blackboard's WebDAV, isn't that what it's called? But for by and large, because this has kind of been our business, is migrating Blackboard schools, it's a nice import tool. So you'll definitely want to play around with that. Let me show you one more thing while we're in a new course. And I could show you this in an existing built-out course as well. But let's talk just quickly about Commons. So Commons is, about a year or so old for us, and it's starting to get a lot of traction, and people are using it in some cool ways. So this is our learning object repository. This comes with Canvas. Canvas tries to have a very simple pricing model. That was another thing the founders heard a lot of, that people were frustrated with other systems, is they tell you it's this much, but analytics and mobile and outcomes and all these things are added on. So we really work hard not to do that. Everything I've showed you is just part of Canvas. It's included in Core Canvas, including this. So this is where, this is the library for content that Canvas users can share with all of Canvas, or just within their institution, or just with themselves. So if they want to put all their quizzes on here and just share with themselves, or share with the department or institution, that's possible to do. So you can do entire courses, modules, assignments, quizzes, discussions, pages, documents, all these things. So let's go, let's just do undergrad videos. You all, probably a lot of you use urinary tract videos for your courses. So you can preview that here. It's going to play. Let's drill into this. And we can play it here. I like that. So I'm going to import this into my EKU course, and it's imported. Okay, so to get back there, I can hit the back button. The back button works in Canvas. It doesn't give you broken screens, you know, or I can go here. So this is showing my favorites, and I haven't put the EKU course as a favorite, so I'm just going to go to all courses here. I can star it if I wanted it to be a favorite. So it's going to take a couple minutes. Typically, it's probably not here yet, but that will show up in a minute. Oh, there it is. Within files, and I can add this to an assignment or a, you know, the front page or whatever. Okay, so I want to show you what a built-out course looks like. Let's go into geology and show you a few things here. Okay, so this is the course navigation bar, right? Global and course navigation bar. And I can customize how this looks. So right now, these gray things are not showing to students. They're just showing to me. And if at any time I want to see what something looks like, that or a quiz or whatever to the students, I'm just going to hit student view. I can get in there and mess around with stuff as a test student, actually take the quiz, whatever. And then delete that. I'm going to leave student view. So I can really customize how this looks in the navigation option. Oops. Windows computer, messing up. All right, so I'm just going to drag and drop whatever I don't want or whatever I do want that's down there. So some instructors, modules is the most popular way to build out courses, and some instructors don't want their students, they just want it to be a really simple view, and so we'll make it that way. So now all the student can see is these four things. Now the announcements and the quizzes and those things still exist, right? But they exist in the modules. So the student can go down here and click on them, or you can shrink all these if you just want them seeing the first item here. And they can go through here chronologically. This is why modules is popular. It's an easy way to frame your course and be able to tell exactly which student is where, set prerequisites. Let's lock module 3 until they get an 85% in this quiz in module 2. You know, so they're just going to navigate through here, take quizzes, watch videos, submit videos, participate in discussions, that sort of thing. Okay, back of the home page of the course. Go ahead. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're talking about just dragging either modules or activity within modules. Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, that's one at a time. Right. In the navigation bar.
Then you can see out something, right? So after you set up your first course, the prompt that you want to use, it's going to maintain that top deck next term, next term.
question. Okay, with modules, you know, as with most things in Canvas, you can drag and drop stuff around. It's John's course, and he's going to be mad at me for putting module 1 behind module 3, but you can do that, you know, or you can drag things within modules. All right, John, let me try to fix that now. So let's bring this puppy back up. Okay, so let's go back to the home screen. Yeah, go ahead, Micah. Yeah, exactly. Yep, it's real time on the cloud. I'll let you talk about that. I mean, I know.
You know the answer.
I'm thinking, well, no, but I was thinking of the delete, the /delete option.
Where Christian's going is actually a cool thing worth mentioning. And I'm trying to get closer to the mic so that people know. That feature in and of itself doesn't have enough to do, but it's a low impact thing, right? It just changes orders. There is an undo feature, however, where called undo. So let's say, not so much a student, let's say that you actually assignment that students have been submitting, or after students have submitted it, you click on something, and whoop, right? Never happens to you guys, I'm sure, but it does happen to instructors with other students. So you put in a slash underneath, and you don't know it's going to be an IT thing, so they might do it or allow you to. Put a slash underneath, click the button to restore that assignment, all the activity and everything back. So in that perspective, it is related to accidentally delete content.
It's just going to be slash and delete like I just did here.
Click the restore button.
Sometimes IT doesn't even want faculty to know about that, so I'm sorry, guys. But cat's out of the bag.
On the other hand, the reason behind that I've heard is that you don't want the expectation to be that you get covered immediately. So they want to get it. The reality is that
Yeah, you can. So you can hide them here. They can all talk about how they can the second part of our question.
so if
Showing
Christian
up on
were to
certain
click
dates.
Here, next to that module 3, edit. This is locking form at the top, so there's a couple different ways of locking. Now this is the module as a whole where you're locking for the individual module you can set up your requisites and have some features that. The individual item is a publish unpublished. So you can and that quiz score, he doesn't want students to skip, so he clicks on that, and it's not going to let him.
Oh, right. Matter.
So those were what's letting you turn live. But in this way, paper and then within each line out itself, you can set up start and end dates,
Tell me your name. Sorry.
edit, you don't need to sign first.
Field trip group.
bottom of this, it says assign to, you X out of the everyone, put X on that, type in Ian. So now you pick Ian as one of the students. Type in Sharpton, whatever. Spell.
I don't know if he's in this course, Chandra.
Chandra, so now, if he's done that, you would change the date of birth date just for this. Well, for this submission, it works like this. For a quiz, you have multiple attempts or more time. You have a moderation tool in the settings, so you can set all of that.
Tell me your name. Greg, what do you teach? Cool. Love humanities. I was a history major. That's my stuff right there. No, they'll see all of it. Yeah, like you can make it available from here to here with these times, but it's due on this date at this time. They'll see all of that. Yeah. Oh, right. Good question. Yeah. There's no one old in this room. Sorry, I was making a note for the future. I didn't hear the whole question.
New term wants to new dates. How do I do that? For I taught this course this term. It's now
Yeah.
I want to copy that content in there, but how do I move my dates?
Okay, so you are going to the EKU course. Yeah, we can just use that. All right, so let's go there. All right, so I'm just going to go to the settings and copy the course. And go ahead.
I think you're wanting to use the course.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's a different way to copy content.
Yeah, you're right. I see what you're saying. Yeah, so it's the same view as the Blackboard course. So I'm going to do copy a Canvas course, right? And then I'm going to type in whatever course it is, right? So we could do, let's do our geology course. And I can do, again, like Blackboard, I can do all the content or specific content. And here's where I can adjust the beginning and ending dates. So changing from September 1st, start, to January 1, start. and change that from whatever December to May.
What he's struggling with here, I think, is you basically have the start and end date that come over from the old course, right? And this is a tough course with that. Start and end dates that come over from the old course. You're indicating this new entry course shell that you want a new start date January 1st and you want it to end 3 months later. And what Canvas will do is scrunch up or manage the distribution of all of your assignments within that new week. So we'll actually change the due dates here. And then you can go use the calendar drag and drop account for any spring break or holiday or something like that. And then the last part is what Christian just did there. You can change Monday, Wednesday class. It's a big time scale.
And it's pretty smart about repopulate, gets it 80, 90% right. Whatever it doesn't, just drag and drop. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. Who asked that? Micah did. Go ahead. Me too. Yeah, so that's what I'm getting to. So I'm going to show you 3 more things, and then we're going to turn over to John to show you mobile, and then do a broader Q&A. So let's get through these 3 quickly. So let's go back to our geology course. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is here in settings. One of the neat things about Canvas is, again, because it's open source and it's modern technology, is you can bring in all these cool LTI apps. LTI is kind of the more modern version in a way of plugins. So it's a standard learning tools interoperability. So you can go to eduappcenter.com, and we created this, but it's LMS agnostic if they use the LTI standard. So we've got 227 apps right now. We're always adding some. So some of these are paid, but many are free. So in my course, I can go here to apps, and I want to add Quizlet or Wikipedia or Khan Academy or whatever. And I'm just going to click a couple times, and it's added that to my course. So now that's part of my course where I create content. I can use that. So let me show you how to do that. This is something I made, or the creator of the course made, using the rich content editor. So I can have the course homepage show the module view, right, or the syllabus view. But here it's showing the front page view. I've created a page and clicked it to be my front page using the rich content editor, and I added those pictures and linked them to modules. So let me show you how to use the rich content editor. It's the same tool everywhere you make content in Canvas. So it's in the discussions, announcements, assignments, quizzes, all those places. So let's make a new announcement. So let's just say this is due tomorrow, and study for this week. Okay, so this is the rich content editor. Nothing sexy here, it's just word formatting stuff. This is the cool stuff down here. We'll get to the apps, the media recorder, and this is my content selector over here. So links are things that I've created in Canvas. This announcement will become its own link in announcements, right here. But I want to link to the assignment. So now the student just clicks on it and they're taken to it. And let's do the same thing with a quiz. Files, same thing. So I can put my link to my syllabus in here. Images I've brought in are thumbnails, or I can just search Flickr for whatever's publicly licensed that I can use there, okay? let's use some of our LTI stuff. So I can also access my YouTube app here. So I want this, I can preview that, change the size. I'm gonna go ahead and embed that there. Size that down a little bit. You know, I can do the same with bringing these Quizlet cards. So it's a volcano, quiz, and I want to include these. Yep, that's the one I want to help them study. Okay, last thing I'll show you in here, that's one of the most popular things about Canvas, is the baked-in media recorder. We'll see if it works on your network. I think it is. On this computer. Oh boy. Yeah, that's fine. So I don't, this isn't my computer. Oh, that's, I'm sorry. Okay, so I can't show you that. But but I was like, do you have a camera on here? My goodness, man. So anyway, I'm just gonna hit record there, and I talk for 20 seconds or an hour or whatever, and then it will play back for me, and I hit save, and it posts that here. Canvas is really sophisticated about rendering it in the best format for whatever device you're on consuming it. It kind of recognizes Android phone or Internet Explorer browser. So we make video really easy to add, and he'll show you some more of that in the mobile. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Yeah. Yep. That's on, no, this all goes to Amazon Web Services. So it goes to the cloud that we use. Good question. Yeah. Yeah. And sorry, I didn't hear that. Say that again. Yeah, and I'll let you answer this in case you want to get into ARC. They had to talk. It was easy.
But those recordings are not something you get access to outside of regular activity. If you make a recording in one page, you have to either share it or share that with page. It's not like so I can show you.
Let me show you the grade book, and then I'll turn it over to John. He can show you that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go fast here, but really, this is the grade book. You can drag and drop stuff into different orders. It's kind of just an easy functional grade book. You know, I can scroll around like an Excel spreadsheet and enter in grades. But I want to show you quickly SpeedGrader. SpeedGrader is kind of what put us on the map initially. And the others have now come up with their own kind of SpeedGrader-ish tools. And they've certainly improved from where they were a couple years ago. But you know, we're now on to the next iteration of SpeedGrader, and hopefully we'll be able to stay ahead. So you've got the inline annotation here, powered by Crocodoc. So I can make different comments. I'm going to say, yeah, the student can reply. Okay, so we can have this dialogue here. My rubrics will show up in line here, so I can go through here. I can leave comments on any particular criteria. It's easy for the student, John will probably show this on mobile, to see every rubric. Here's exactly how I'm being judged in this assessment. And I can also use the same baked-in media tools. So maybe I'm on my phone. I just want to do a speech recognition. Oh, actually, I don't know if it'll work on this computer. Oh, there it is. All right. Hey, Phil. Big Phil. Your computer does have a mic and a camera. Well, or I can not show you what I can do here, right? I can make the same video. What's cool is the students have the same tools. So everywhere in the rich content editor, the students can reply using the same tools, the same LTI tools, the media recorder, making video and responding to each other that way. The only difference, they don't have that pane on the right-hand side where you can link to the different content, right? But they've got the exact same tool there. John, why don't you take over? We've only got about 13 minutes.
Pretty loud, so this could be scary.
Yeah.
Can you grade in the app? Yeah, I'm going to actually show that. Yes. Yep. So we have, I hope that's not too loud for everybody. We have a couple of app options, and I think the best way here, Christian, you want your lunch? So we focus entirely on Android and iOS for our mobile apps. That said, we have that responsive design website, so if you have a Surface Pro or some other tablet, you'd be able to use that as well directly within the browser. But there's some really cool things about the browser that, or rather about apps, there's things in the browser on a mobile device that you can't do. One of which is share a file. You can't, for example, go into Safari on your tablet and submit an assignment from Google Drive. It's just not possible because the Safari doesn't have a file management system. Same thing with Chrome and some of the others. You also can't use the video. So where Christian was using the video earlier or trying to, you aren't going to be able to do that on any of your iOS devices because it just is not allowed within a browser. You're not going to be able to use audio in the same way. So that's where apps become really important, and we've invested heavily in iOS and Android app development. We're going to look at a couple right now, actually one in particular. So you can see we have a polling tool, which I'm not going to get into, but that's used for a setting like this, right, where you have a class and you want to raise a question like you would with any other student response system. And then you get that immediate feedback and you could act upon that feedback within the classroom environment. So it's really a simple polling system. You aren't going to get into fancy types of use cases, but it's just included and you can see if it works for you or not, or whether you need to stick with the clickers. It's really up to you. So I'm going to go into the Canvas app though, and I'm logged in as a student, and these are the 4 courses that I am enrolled in, and just refresh there. We do make heavy use of pandas in our apps, yeah. So let me describe what you're seeing here. In the upper left-hand corner where you see that image, that's my presence information, right? So there's a picture of of a younger me. Ian is Gaelic for John, so that's what I've gone with. But I can change the background if I want to go with something like an image. Let's pick one right there. Change the picture. I'm going to even build an avatar for a panda if I really want to, right? So there's good fun stuff. I'm not going to save that. I'll stick with who I am. I can also access all of my files though, and these are files that are either shared on my mobile device or directly within the browser. So if I want to look, for example, at this PowerPoint, when somebody uploads a presentation or a Word document or a PDF document or an Excel spreadsheet, those types of things, Canvas is going to neutralize that so that it can be viewed natively within the app, and you don't have to have the actual software to view it, right? And then you notice I even had the option to share that if I go into this. Yes?
So in that statement, you're saying that students do not have to download like
Correct.
.ppt or .xl or anything.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So the idea here is to be able to do the whole class on this device. And we've got reports of students that are actually doing that in some classes now. So it's really cool to see. But yeah, so like if I submitted this homework assignment right here and I want to share it with, any number of other apps that allow file sharing, I can certainly do that, right? So that's all cool. I've got my files, I've got my image, people like that. That's the fun part. Now let's get to class. I could use the same types of shortcuts to navigate throughout my class, just like I would be able to do on a regular computer. I might also want to know what my grades are right now. So I click that little icon in the upper right, the A+, and it shows me, ouch. Yeah, I'm not doing so hot, but I'm doing better in geology, so we're going to focus on that one. I think I'm going to drop psychology. I'm sorry, there must be a psychology teacher in here. I'll work harder on that one. All right. So I can navigate directly into it, and I'm going to see the same type. There's the 4 items that Christian left visible to me as a student, and I can go into getting started, and I've got all of the different things like the introduction thread, where, you know what, maybe within this, let's assume that I haven't left an introduction. You're going to see a lot of stuff load here in a second. I'm going to leave another introduction, so I click on that little icon, and there's a little camera right there. Click on that, and I'm going to take photo or video. I like this now. All right, video. Here's my video introduction. Hi. All right. So there we go. There it is. I can put C+, really? Thanks. A+, all right, that's better. All right, so I just submitted that, and it's gonna load that up here. And that's all good that I can navigate just like you'd expect. I can even go in and look at my specific grades within this course. There we go. So you can see all my grades right there. That's all cool. But what I really want to do is I don't want to have to bother with that as a student, right? I just want to know what I have to do today. So I'll go to the calendar at the bottom and not even pay attention to what course I'm in. This gives me a calendar view of all of my courses, same color coding, right, that I selected. And today's the 3rd, so I don't really have anything to do today. That's awesome. But if I swipe to tomorrow, I've got a lab class, and then if I go the other way, I see I've missed an assignment. Huh? What's that? Did I miss something?
No, I seen what it said under the panda.
Oh, I never read that. Nothing to see here. That's pretty cool. Now I'm gonna have to look at that every time. All right. Did it really? A free day, really? You should join a club. Okay, so we're keeping it fun. Students like that, right? All right. So in any case, I know exactly what I need to do here, or I can click on the to-do option there, which takes away the calendar view, and now I can see, all right, I'm clearly psychology, I'm failing. And I've got one quiz in the survey, rather, that I need to respond to within my other course. And then going a bit further, I can see the notifications about due date changes and all the other things that are going on within each of my courses, also color-coded. Let me close by doing one quick thing. I'm going to go to that assignment that was due yesterday, this one right here. And I want to actually, all right, there's the rubric that I'm being evaluated on. I did pretty well on this the last time it was graded, but I'm going to submit it anyways again, which I probably would not do. Here's all my submissions in the past. But I want to turn it in again. Now, I have a couple of options. Number one, I could import it from my camera. Number two, there it is right there because I imported it previously from my Google Drive. And to do that, I just went into my Drive, found my homework submission. I'm going to send a copy to Canvas. Right there. There it is. File was received, and now I have the old one and the new one. I want the new one. I'm going to go ahead and submit that. Message is going up. Now I could message the instructor and say whatever, whatever I need to share with them. So just like that, I've done everything that I need to do. The last thing I might want to do is respond to some other messages that show up in that inbox and that conversation back and forth with my classmates or the instructor. So students good. Are we cool with that? We're going to switch over to the instructor side now. Thank you. Yes, the app is free. All of our apps are free. It's just using, no, it's not, it's just using an internet connection. So you have to authenticate into the course. You have to be an enrolled user in the course, but we don't really care where you're at physically. All right. You can see I just got an update. Well, you'll see that in a second here. There we go. I got an update, a push notification from Canvas there. In fact, I got a bunch of push notifications. So you get a sense Canvas is going to integrate with the same types of things that the student or you as a faculty member are seeing. There's that responsive design where it's pushing my to-do list down at the bottom when I'm in portrait, but when I go to landscape, it's got it off to the right. So give you a sense of how that experience would be within the normal browser. But what I really want to do as a teacher is this thing called a speed grader. Now I do have the same Canvas app that you'd expect, and I could go directly into that geology course and have the same tools down here from the teacher's perspective, and that's all cool. But the speed grader, which is right here, is where the power, it really shines. So there's my flying panda. It's updating it. I should see the assignment submission within Geology 101. It might have already updated before I got in here. I'm going to click on the icon to the left. Notice I can hide the names while I'm grading them, and I can set that up as a default too. Show ungraded students first. I'm going to go ahead and jump into this geology course. And here are all of the assignments that are published within this course. And I want to focus on the assignment number, I think it was one that I submitted. Assignment number 1. So here is Annie's. You notice the name at the top. This is her submission. If I swipe again, I'm going to get James Casey's submission. Swipe again. Here's Ian's. This is the one that I just submitted, actually. And so from this point, I can just click right up here in the corner, upper left-hand corner, to maybe leave a point comment and say something along the lines of, "This looks plagiarized. Please resubmit." All right. There we go. And so I'll get a response back from that one, I'm sure. Now I want to go ahead and grade this, right? Last paper, I gave them all amazing, glowing review. This time, not so much. So I'm going to click right there, and I can see all of the different attempts that Ian's made in the past. So I'm going to ding him. This is not his best work. He's trying, but I can leave individual comments for the individual rubric. Here's my comment. So it makes it really easy to give kind of customized feedback. I'll just click save. And now I'm going to go back, swipe to the next student, which hasn't submitted yet.
You can also do a video comment.
That's actually where I'm headed now. So I'm going over to Casey's, and I'm going to. It's just a built-in iPad functionality. Yep. That's the beauty of this type of an experience, right? I'm not typing everything out. It's just right here at my fingertips. And then to Christian's point, if I wanted to leave an audio comment because I'm having a bad hair day, yeah, so I've seen this paper before. Please submit your own work. All right. Let's go ahead and post this. It submits that comment. So you get the idea, right? It's easier on me as the person doing the grading. I then can go ahead and swipe using that capability of the mobile device, and I'm done. It also has that mute feature in the. Have I been talking for how long and that's been up there?
No.
Okay. Notice it's not like that here. Apparently the video.
I've had that happen on projectors.
Yeah, projectors sometimes do that. Yeah, we are. That's a pretty.
What? Yeah, that was the picture we wanted to end on. So, what questions does anybody have?
I teach communication classes frequently in the online classes have to submit a speech. So how they can do this very easily, it sounds like. Is there a time limit? A file size limit?
No, we tell people there's a usability time limit, meaning there's no real physical time limit, but an hour, we say, is probably a good threshold. Anything over an hour, and it's not going to keep anybody's attention. But theoretically, in a class like yours, that might make sense, right? So if I did a video submission for the assignment where I went in and submitted that assignment, instead I, as the student, would leave a video. And that video could be as long as it needs to be. To set it up on a tripod and do whatever I need to. I can also submit a video file if I need to. And in that case, there is a file size limit. It's 500 megabytes.
Can you open it up for other students to see what other students submitted?
Yes, we have peer review, which would support that capability. Or I mentioned that other BYU Hawaii class. It was they relied heavily on the discussion features, and so you're seeing all of the student replies and things of that sort. Correct. And the video doesn't count against your quota, which is more of the IT department cares more about that, right? But still, you don't have to worry about, I think someone mentioned that you ran out of storage recently. Yeah. So if you uploaded videos into our media recorder, it's not going to count against your quota. So even if, not that you would ever run up against a wall, you'd be extra safe in knowing that it's not going to cost the institution anymore either in the long run. But yes.
I caught a complaint from a faculty member that was taking a look at Canvas not too long ago.
Mhm.
They basically were concerned that, in their view, the quizzes did not support hotspotting. Is that an issue you're familiar with?
Oh yeah. Let me see if I can. I wish I had my computer.
I got that same faculty member. There's one faculty member on campus who is super concerned about that.
They do anatomy.
So my challenge is that what I need is on my computer for this, and you're recording.
We can just answer verbally, or shall we?
I'll go ahead
The answer to your question is we're right now in the middle of development of our new quizzing engine, calling it Quiz 2.0 internally. Hotspot is one of the question types that's being added, along with a whole bunch of other things that are being addressed within the user interface. And I've got prototypes of it on my computer that I can share with you at some other point if it makes sense.
It's